bones and nerves. Made up of 3 layers, the epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis, skin's thickness varies from 0.5 millimeters at its thinnest and up to 4 millimeters at its thickest. It also carries out 3 key functions: protecting, regulating, and sensing the world beyond its limits. On a daily basis, its huge surface processes hundreds, if not thousands, of physical sensations, relying mostly on large, pressure-sensitive skin components called Merkel cells. In your fingertips alone, there are 750 Merkel cells per each square centimeter of skin, coupled with over 2,500 receptors that give you your sense of touch. This surface is also the body's first major line of defense. Without it, you'd be a soggy mass of tissue and fluids, fatally exposed to the elements. Skin effectively seals off your insides and also absorbs pressure and shock with flexible collagen that makes up most of its dermal layer. The epidermis is made up mainly of skin cells called keratinocytes that are completely replaced every 4 weeks. As new cells form at the base of the epidermis, older ones are pushed up. When these cells move upwards, they're filled with a hardened protein called keratin. Once they reach the surface, they form a tightly overlapping, waterproof layer that's difficult for invading microbes to breach. Any harmful microbes that make it into the epidermis will encounter Langerhans cells. This group of protective skin cells detects invaders and communicates their presence to resident immune system T cells, which react by launching an immune response. A crucial feature of this immune defense is the several thousand species of microorganisms that inhabit the planes, folds, and crevices of your skin. These microbes, which include bacteria and fungi, thrive in the sebum, an oily substance that's secreted onto the skin's surface by sebaceous glands nestled inside the dermis. These skin microbes keep the immune system in a state of constant surveillance, ensuring that it's ready to react if the body really is at risk. Beyond this protective role, your skin is also a sensory organ that helps regulate your body's temperature, 2 roles that are closely interlinked. Nerves detect whether your skin is warm or cold and communicate that information to your brain. In return, the brain instructs localized blood vessels to either expand if the body is too warm, releasing heat from the blood through the skin, or to constrict if the body is cold, which retains heat. At any given time, up to 25% of the body's blood is circulating through the dermis, making this process extremely efficient. Under warm conditions, the skin's sweat glands will secrete sweat via ducts onto the surface, transferring heat out of the body. Hair can also be stimulated to conserve or release body warmth. The average human has 5 million hair follicles embedded everywhere on the body except the palms of your hands and soles of your feet. 90 to 150,000 of those are on your scalp, where they help shield the large surface area of your head from physical damage and sunburn. When you're cold, tiny muscles called arrector pili cause hair to stand upright across the body. That's the phenomenon known as goosebumps, and it traps body heat close to your skin. Skin's vast surface isn't just a shield, it also enables us to interact and connect with the world. Its multifunctional layer cools us down and keeps us warm. The integumentary system may be many things, but it's certainly more than skin deep.
There are skin disorders that cause disabilities, and to understand more on this topic, we sit down with a dermatologist who gets to explain to us more about some of the skin disorders that are classified as disabilities.
My name is Alice Wawero. I'm a dermatology venereology officer.
What are the types of skin disorders that can be classified as disabilities?
We are talking about diseases like albinism, vitiligo, psoriasis, scleroderma, xeroderma pigmentosa, and hidradenitis suppurativa.
Any person can have these disorders, but how are they acquired and can they be classified differently?
We have congenital causes or acquired causes. And we also classify them according to mild and severe. And we also classify them according to presentation, how they could be itching and severe itching. They could also present with some present with severe itching, deformities or disabilities or pain, so that we classify them as a disability.
Talk to us about albinism.
Albinism is a congenital disorder, meaning that one is born with it, or genetic, we call it genetic. And when we talk about albinism, it means that you're born without melanin, or rather you're born without melanosomes, which are the cells that synthesize melanin. And maybe I could talk about the classification of albinism. We have albinism that affects the scalp, the eye, or the skin. And you could get one that has all the presentation of the scalp, the eyes, and the skin.
When you say that it affects different parts of the body, what does that mean?
You find very few clients, the presentation, how they present, you find if it's not affecting the scalp, then the hair changes. The hair will remain as it is, or I would say, like in our African setup, we have the black hair. So you find they have black hair, but then if it affects only the eyes, then they'll have a shaking that happens in the eye. Or if it affects the skin, then they have the very light color.
We are slowly learning about vitiligo as a skin disorder. Is it acquired or genetic?
Vitiligo, also we say vitiligo is also acquired, or it could also be congenital, but usually it's an autoimmune disease. When we mean by autoimmune, we say that it's the body in itself that is fighting against itself. So that's when we say we get vitiligo. And there's a difference, because with vitiligo, then it's not generalized, but you can get patients who have it generalized. So there's a difference between albinism and vitiligo.
Most people do not know about psoriasis, and it being a disorder that can be classified as a disability. What exactly is psoriasis?
Psoriasis is a condition that we say the etiology or the cause is not known, but we classify them in the classification of papillosquamous diseases, meaning it presents maybe with itching. And if I would go deep, we say that it's when patients who have psoriasis, their skin has a very fast turnover, in that it will take around 5 to 7 days for the skin to regenerate, whereas normally it's supposed to take 28 days.
In the beginning, we mentioned hidradenitis suppurativa. What condition is this, and how does it present itself?
With hidradenitis suppurativa is a condition that presents with abscesses and scarring, where we have even sinuses.
You mentioned scleroderma. What kind of disorder is it?
So scleroderma is a condition that presents with hardening of the skin, and usually you find that the hardening occurs on the palms of the hands and on the mouth. So the mouth tends to become small, and also a disability of the eyes. But this usually for us at primary health care, when we get such patients, we refer them to the consultants.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Kilimo Diaries is not your one-stop show. We are always on the move to different farms, and it's always unpredictable, with animals, crops, and advice from both farmers and experts. We are always here to inform you on everything agriculture every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. only on your home of untold stories.
Mount Kenya University takes pride in being an academic giant with some of the best infrastructure, imparting knowledge to the best brains in the country and the region. Our members of faculty are keen to deliver market-driven programs in science and humanities with a keen focus on linkages with relevant organizations. Join us today and train with the best to become the best. Mount Kenya University, unlocking infinite possibilities.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Before the break, we mentioned some skin disorders that can cause disabilities, for example albinism, vitiligo, and even psoriasis. Are there others that are not as common, and what are the characteristics?
We have two, I think, which are not very common. We have neurofibroma, and we also have a condition known as xeroderma pigmentosa. So the characteristics is that it depends with how it presents. You find like in neurofibromas, they present with nodules that hang, yeah. But with pigmentosa, xeroderma pigmentosa, you find patients with morted skin, and they also complicate, and the cases that I've seen, they complicate and present with blindness also. Yes, now that's why it becomes a disability.
Are there known effects of the mentioned disorders?
So in the physical, we have limitation and discomfort. But in the psychosocial, we have the cognitive, the social, and also the emotional. So we get from the emotional is what carries more, because from that, when you have disability of the skin or disability of any cause, you notice that people would be depressed, they'll get emotional withdrawal, their self-esteem will be low, and because we know as humans, once you see, you want to see again. So if you see someone with nodules that are hanging, you check. So what at the end of it all, these patients tend to suffer from the emotional aspects.
Skin disorders have a classification known as the Rule of 9. What is this about, and which of the disorders can fall under this rule?
In the Rule of 9, what happens is that this is just a criteria that we use to measure the body surface area. In this, we are able to assess and see how much surface body area is covered by how much the extent of the disease using the 9, the rule of 9. Yes, the rule of 9. So with it, we're able to assess the extent. So with like with vitiligo, for you to be classified as for vitiligo to be classified as a disability, then it means we'll need to have an extent of the body surface area of around 30%, or alternatively, or width, because there are two criteria. One, the measurement. Two, if you've been treated for 12 months, then that is a criteria for you to be classified as a disability.
What is the treatment focus of said disorders?
We say in dermatology that most option for us is what we call emollients. So use of emollients for most conditions, and like psoriasis, because the skin tends to become very dry. So we encourage emolliation. In patients with albinism, since they don't have melanin, then we'll need to take care of the sun. So by taking care of the sun, we make sure that they wear hats, wide beam hats, they wear long-sleeved clothing, and we also encourage them to use sunscreen, which I would like to thank the government of Kenya, because it does provide sunscreen free of charge to patients with albinism. When we talk of psoriasis, then as I said, we could start with emollients and basically what I can say in everything is that in dermatology you need to see a dermatologist, because only a dermatologist will be able to assess and know what is this that you're suffering from. So we cannot really say that I can give, this is the treatment that we use. There are those ones who need systemic treatment. There are those who just need when they have a chronic condition, and in this case this is chronic. There are those ones that we are able to manage, and there are those ones that we are just we will just treat the symptoms.
Sometimes burns cause disabilities. Can they be classified as disorders as well?
I would not want to classify burns as a skin disorder. I would rather classify it as an injury. And once you're injured, okay, if we were to go to burns, I would classify it as an accident or an injury. So in this injury, I know you're concerned about the disability that comes with burns. So it depends with the degree of the burn, where we have first, second, and third degree, and it also depends with patients having gone to see a healthcare provider, how early they will go see the patient, the healthcare provider. Because if they are late or they apply their own concussions, then it is progressing. If it was meant to be a mild injury, then it progresses to maybe second degree or third degree. Then in the event that they don't go for treatment, how it causes disability is that you heal with contractures, in that if it appears on a joint, and maybe because of pain you limit yourself from extending your hand, then eventually you have a contracture, and that becomes a disability where your mobility will be interfered with. Yes, because you didn't seek treatment early. But then it doesn't mean that there's no treatment. That's why we have our surgeons who can be able to separate it. As I had said earlier, I realized just the other day that we have set standard for dermatology conditions done by one Dr. Esther Nafura from the Ministry of Health, and that is why we classified them. So I think we are moving. I can say we are not where we were before.
What is the effect of using unknown products on our skins, and can they cause disorders?
As I said, we said the most cause of disability, or rather the effect of skin conditions, is the psychosocial part of it. Yeah? So we tend to think that we want to be in a certain way, and I think this is something that we need to talk to Kenyans about, because we tend to copy the West. We tend to think that being light is beautiful, and I think for me, I am okay being dark. So and the government is really out there, and we are trying to fight and talk to people about this thing of people want to breach, because I don't see why you should change your skin color, and so that maybe, yeah, as you said, it could be that we are trying to copy the West. Disability, we say, is not inability. So meaning everyone who has a disability, the first thing, actually, as we were talking about the breaching part of it, we've realized it's that why we are going out to change our skin color is because we have a personality issue, because you're not comfortable in the skin that you are in. So the same would appear with a patient who has the same condition, because even breaching is a condition, by the way, though as much as, yeah, in later years it can cause disability, in that you get, we have people who have developed exfoliative erythroderma, secondary to use of a prolonged use of steroids, very strong steroids. So I would say these are patients that need to undergo so much counseling so that they accept this is a condition, and we've done our best, but they should not hide away. They should come and accept. And I'm happy that when I meet with many in town, I meet with very many girls who have albinism, and they're walking very comfortable, and I'm happy when I see them like that, with hearts, and they have accepted their condition. Whether you stare at them, they know who they are, and they have accepted who they are. And being a Christian, I always say it's wise to, and it is okay to accept yourself and decide, I'm beautifully and wonderfully made. It doesn't matter what skin I am in, whether it's a skin of albinism, whether I'm dark, whether I'm light. That is a condition. I mean, that is, you are, the Lord created you, the Creator created you that way. So if you accept yourself, if you accept that you were born with a condition, then I think you not call yourself disabled. On the knowledge, it will be a bit hard for me, because I think I'm a bit very busy where I work. But in case they have, they want to consult, I work at a public facility in Nairobi County. I work for Nairobi County at a clinic that was long time ago known as Casino Skin Clinic, so they can get me there.